This is my convertible four-season greenhouse. It's currently in an intermediate stage for the springtime. In the wintertime it's completely covered in plastic, and the only access to the greenhouse is through the garage, through that door. And in the summertime it's completely uncovered with no plastic on it at all. And the frame stays up year-round, and the wire fencing stays up year-round for climbing crops to climb on. But the plastic comes and goes. And I've been using disposable plastic. In the long term I'd like to use actual glass windows that I could just open. But that would involve knowing for certain how long we're going to stay in the site. So in the wintertime, the rain gutter is connected to a rain barrel that sits here on this pedestal, and then I had 4 additional rain barrels this year that sat along the wall. This wall faces south, so it gets good south light, and it doesn't lose any heat to the north because the garage is there. And the barrels full of water help to hold in the heat during the night and re-release that during the night. The pavement also serves as thermal mass to help balance out the temperature, but really it does get well below freezing here all winter long, but the soil doesn't freeze. The air freezes, but the soil doesn't freeze. So we have a lot of things growing here. There's arugula that was growing all winter and is going to flower and going to seed now. There's a new crop of arugula taking its place here for the spring. It's already very spicy. We've got Typhon, which is an Asian green, also called Holland greens for some reason. We sell quite a bit of that at the market. We've got some carrots down here, potatoes that come back every year because I never get quite all of them, peas. Now you may be wondering how I till this, and the answer is that I don't. This soil has never been tilled since we moved in here 5 years ago, and this has been a continual annual bed since then. So I sheet mulched it the first year with a good quantity of green matter and brown matter, but then in subsequent years I've just top dressed with additional compost. And you can see right here there are some eggshells. That's compost that hasn't broken down yet. So as opposed to sheet mulching, you might say that this is spot mulching, where I take a day's worth or 2 days worth of kitchen scraps, put them in the garden, cover them up with leaves, and let them compost directly on the spot that I want to fertilize. And I find that that works very well at keeping the soil fertile. The plants here do not appear nitrogen deprived, unlike in some of my mulched gardens. And so I've been very satisfied with this arrangement. Any spot that doesn't grow a crop at the moment, that's not busy growing a crop, is busy getting more fertile with spot mulching. So this fencing, I used this variety of fencing, which is a 2-inch by 4-inch hole, something like that, because that's what I happen to have on hand. I would not recommend using such a small gauge of fencing for things to climb on, because things like tomatoes, for instance, they just get completely bound up, and then you can't remove them at the end of the year until they're completely dead. Anyway, one thing that people have mentioned about this, or have asked about, is whether this roof slopes enough to keep the snow off. And the answer is no, it doesn't keep the snow off, but it is definitely strong enough to hold the snow up. These gaps in the ceiling are 2 feet by probably 4 or 5 feet in size, and this plastic, which is 6 mil, just standard 6 mil poly from the hardware store, is more than strong enough to hold up a foot of snow. And it does stretch under that kind of weight, but it doesn't break. And so I have been replacing it every year, but it's actually held up very well. I haven't had any trouble with it breaking. I've had more trouble with the frame. This is my second frame. I had a I had a frame that was made of PVC pipe, like a lot of people use for hoop houses, and that just collapsed under the weight of snow. So when I'm done converting this for the summertime, I'll move that rain gutter to the actual edge of the roof, and it will drain into this rain barrel, which I'll keep in pretty much constant use all summer long. The long-term plan for this location is to have aquaponics have a fish tank in the garage with pipes coming out through this old dog door, and grow beds suspended over this non-productive piece of land here next to the sidewalk. So I'm experimenting with aquaponics right now in the basement, and if once we know for sure whether we're staying here for a few more years, I'll build a larger aquaponics system here for summertime use. Thank you.